Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode of the Weekly Compass, we're going to take a look at the energies for the week of March 8th through the 14th, 2021. Before we get into the reading, I just want to mention that this is a general reading. If you're interested in a personalized reading, please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start off with a numerology for the week, and then we'll go ahead and get into the energy forecast. So we start this week off with 8 energy, and we are currently in an 8 universal cycle. So more than likely, we're going to feel that 8 energy even more pronounced. So I would suggest, if you haven't listened to your life path number forecast for March, to go ahead and do that. It's up on YouTube, it's up on my podcast, so whichever you listen to. But that will give you an overview of that 8 cycle energy that we're currently moving through in March. And so starting off this week with this 8 energy, like I said, I feel like we're going to have, it's going to feel more pronounced collectively. So the 8 energy at this time, I feel like, is going to represent more of that material power that 8 energy is known for. But it's like, in order for that power to be balanced, there must be harmony between the feminine and masculine energies from within and from without. And again, I know that you know this, but I will mention that when I speak of masculine and feminine energies, it has nothing to do with gender. It's an energy. So it's an energy that we all hold from within. We have those feminine traits and those feminine energies, as well as those masculine traits or masculine energies from within. And we're always sort of seeking to balance those energies. So I feel like it's going to be pretty highlighted at the beginning of the week, sort of where we might be out of balance individually, within, and how that imbalance from within affects the balance from without, so collectively. So we can look to the collective and easily see that there's an imbalance, and it's kind of like an extreme of that 8 energy at play. So enter greed, enter abuses of power, heavily patriarchal or masculine dominance, where it comes to action being sort of embraced over stillness, and achieving over, again, sort of that receiving energy, the need to achieve being more rewarded over the need for receiving, right? And so it's like, again, it's like logic over intuition. So, so on and so on and so on. So if you're not really familiar with sort of what the masculine energy attributes are or the feminine energy attributes, not to plug my book, but I do go over that in detail in my book, Intentionally Intuitive, a guidebook for intuitive living. So if you're looking to sort of balance those energies and start to work more with your intuitive side, your feminine side, then that's a great resource. So just FYI, the link is also in the description box for that. So this is going to be a time for, again, I feel like balance has been coming up so much in 2020, and also as we continue to move through 2021, in finding our own center, finding our own equilibrium between the action and the stillness, the giving and the receiving, the masculine and the feminine sides from within, and doing so without the shame or the guilt. Again, I think I mentioned this it could have been last week's reading, but it's like, if you're somebody who has just always been in action mode because that's what's been rewarded, you've gotten the most accolades for doing that or seen the most success from that, you can sometimes feel shame or guilt for leaning into or surrendering into the more feminine side of stillness, of receiving, of rest and rejuvenation. And any extreme is going to have some kind of detrimental effect. And so it's about finding that balance. And again, I feel like you may see this sort of come out more in the physical at this time. So again, like maybe you're going to see some kind of imbalance between around your money. So maybe you are overspending, or maybe you are sort of hoarding your money or clinging to it, and there's not a energetic balance or a healthy relationship with your money. And so again, it's going to be an opportunity to take a closer look at that. And I feel like that'll be highlighted if that's something that you have an issue with, or that you're struggling with. It can be about power struggles, anything in an extreme with power. If you're in an over-dominating role where you have the power and you're forcing that power onto another, or if you are someone who is more fallen into a more subservient role where somebody has power over you, or you feel they do, or maybe you've given your power away to them, to survive or to accommodate, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like that's going to be highlighted, as well as this imbalance that we see collectively between action and stillness, logic and intuition. And so again, those things may be highlighted at the beginning of the week quite strongly. So pay attention to anything that comes up for you around that. And then this is also going to be, I think, highlighting those internal imbalances when it comes to, your relationships, anything to do with, again, logic, intuition, nourishment of the body, mind, spirit, and where those may be out of balance, as well as your emotions. So if you are finding that you are more constantly living in the extreme of like fear or hatred or anger or resentment, or even some form of depression or anything like that, where it's consuming you, or the other extreme where you're just sort of forcing yourself to be constantly positive and not facing those other sides of yourself. So again, it's like, this can be a time where everything's sort of laser focused on those areas where you're living in some kind of an extreme. It's like the 8 energy is going to really highlight where that is when it comes to you giving your power away. And that can be meaning giving your power away to your emotions, giving your power away to, the societal structure that says we need to be in constant action mode and constantly in our masculine, so it's like any of those things are giving our power away. And so again, you may see some challenges or some it could just be ideas that come up for you, or something that highlights. It could be through your dreams, something that highlights for you, again, just where you're living in some kind of an extreme and where you need to find that balance. Well, I don't want to say where you need to find that balance, because you have a choice, but you will find that the more that you can work to find your center, the more comfortable and in harmony you'll feel. So I do feel like, especially with this being an 8 cycle, universal cycle month, I do feel like the beginning of the week could be a little intense in that sense where it's just highlighting for us where we're living in an extreme. Okay, then we move into the end of the week and we have this 14-5 cycle. So it's a 5 cycle, but there's influences of that 14 energy. So this is interesting because this actually happens right around the new moon in Pisces, which is very much, this is a time when you can get very, very vivid dreams. You can even daydreams, and your imagination can be running wild. And so this is going to be a time for vivid imagination, new ideas that may seem maybe unrealistic or more sci-fi than reality. This can be a time for high energy and vitality. So you may see things come up around your health that need your attention, maybe go to the doctor or something like that. But this is going to be a time for really like understanding what it is that you need to adjust to be able to step into that higher energy. So pay attention to anything that kind of comes up for you around this time. This is going to be a time where sort of narrow-minded thinking can create unnecessary roadblocks. So practical applications are going to be important. So you don't want to throw, all the caution to the wind and completely overlook any kind of practicality. You want to, find your balance, right? I think balance is going to be the key throughout the week. But, pay attention to those practical applications, but try to stay as open as possible to what comes in for you. I know I say that a lot, but I feel like this week is going to really encourage you to have an open mind and an open heart, to be open to trial and error and to learn through experience. So try not to be too quick to discount something simply because it's beyond your current scope of understanding or because it's beyond your sort of the boundary that you've created for your comfort zone, right? This may be a time where you're sort of feeling the urge to dance beyond your comfort zone, and that is definitely encouraged, while also, checking in with yourself and paying attention to the knowledge and the logic and the practical side of things. But this is going to be a time where you're really encouraged to follow your daydreams, follow your intuition, follow the feeling of something, and use all of your senses when deciding if something is worth pursuing for you. Okay? That's going to be really key. That 5 energy is all about the senses and really just embracing every aspect of who you are as a living, breathing being. And that includes those senses, including that sixth sense or that intuitive side of yourself. So this is going to be a time where you have the green light to just throw yourself into whatever it is and just feel it and just experience it. And through that experience, that's how you'll decide if you want to pursue it or if it makes sense for you. So finding your perfect blend at this time or what feels best for you when it comes to intellect and feelings will serve you during this 5 cycle. All right. And especially during that, this isn't just going to happen on the 5th. Or on the 14th. This is going to happen, leading up to the 14th. So I would anticipate, especially during that new moon in Pisces. So pay attention to what comes in for you. And because it's a new moon and it's like there's no light from the full moon, I'm really getting the sense that dreams are going to be very vivid and potent during this time. So, if you don't have a dream journal, and a dream journal can just be a pad of paper or a recording device where you can wake up whenever you wake up from the dream and just instantly record the dream. Not all dreams are going to hold significant messages. Sometimes it's just our brain sort of dumping from the day and move so it can free up some space, or it's, our souls going on journeys. But sometimes very profound messages will come through in dreams. And so this is going to be a time really throughout Pisces season where your dreams are going to be coming in a lot. So pay attention to those as much as you can and try to capture them as much as you can, especially if it's one that you keep thinking about or keeps coming up for you. There's more than likely a message there for you. So, okay, let's look at the overall energy for the week. So we start the week off with sort of this, it could be like a communication coming in for you, could be some kind of opportunity. It seems like a conversation of sorts that has the potential to sort of satiate something that you've been looking to do or looking to purchase or something like that. It's like an idea or something coming in, but you're getting tripped up on spending the money or using a resource or investing a resource in order to pursue whatever this is. And this is where there needs to be sort of a closer look at your relationship to money, your relationship around how you feel about fear of lack or overindulgence or whatever the case may be. But it feels like it's like a really good opportunity or communication or opportunity for a redirect is coming in, but it's like you're immediately going to that fear of losing something, or when it feels very physical. So it could be like money, like fear of losing money, or you're kind of doubting whether you should spend the money on this because you don't know if it's a good investment or whatever the case may be. I'm getting the feeling that it is a good investment, like it's solid and it is worth your time and your energy. And where it's going to lead you is, you will see that money return tenfold type thing. But it may not appear that way initially. And I feel like the reason for that is to force you to take a closer look at your relationship with money, or your relationship to something that you're afraid of releasing. So it's kind of like, again, it's like you're overly attached to whatever this is. If it's like you don't feel like you should invest in it because you don't have the money right now, then you're attached to that false sense of, security of thinking like, I'm never going to be able to afford this, so I'm not going to invest in it, which doesn't sound like security, but sometimes we get attached to those beliefs and faulty mindsets to where it makes us feel better by saying, okay, I'm not going to invest in this because I'm not worthy of abundance, or I'm not worthy of attracting what it is that I need to make this happen. So there's just this sense of like an opportunity to take a closer look in the physical, what it is that you're clinging to out of fear, or out of just based on past experiences maybe, where you're not open. Remember we talked about that, being open to what comes in for you this week and really immersing yourself in it with all of your senses, that sort of thing. So I do think that you need to obviously be practical about whatever it is as well, and use the intellect and the logic, and take a look at the reality. You don't want to throw yourself into a dream, right? Or, something that could be an illusion. But I think that whatever this opportunity is, or this communication, or whatever this opportunity for investment, this could also be like a opportunity for a new relationship, but you're clinging to sort of the way things are with somebody, or was with somebody, or you're clinging to, I got hurt in the past, so I'm not going to open myself up to this relationship. And in doing that, you're like guarding yourself, and you're clinging to a past experience that's no longer a part of your story, but you're continuing to take it forward. So it's kind of like this could very easily be that's actually coming in really, really strongly. So if you're single, or not single, life happens. So it's like if an opportunity for a relationship comes in for you, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be like an opportunity for new friends to come in, but maybe you've had bad experiences with friendships in the past, and so you're very guarded around that. This is just going to be, again, highlighting for you where it is that you're overly attached to something, and that can be a mindset, like being overly attached to a mindset or a belief that just is, again, holding you back from experiencing something with all of your senses and sort of opening your world wide open, right? Like wide up. So it's kind of like, yeah. So again, it's a general reading, so it can come in so many different ways, but I do feel like it's like there's an opportunity here, but there's something that you're really clinging to. I think it's like based off a previous experience too. That could be the case. So again, it's kind of like if it has to do with money, then maybe it was like you invested in something in the past and kind of got burned on that, and you're hesitant to sort of make the same mistake again, which you won't do because you're aware of it. But it's kind of like that message of like, just because we've experienced something in the past doesn't mean we're going to experience something exactly like that in the future. We can't continue to guard ourselves. We need to open ourselves up to those experiences and live life, right? So anyway, I feel like I spent a lot of time on that, but that's coming in really, really strongly. Then we move into the middle of the week, and there's really this call to pull from your own wisdom, like really go within, really, you may feel called at this time to kind of go into like a hermit phase where you sort of pull yourself back from the chaos and the noise of the world, this might be a good time to unplug. Like, honestly, it's like if you are feeling overwhelmed by everything that's coming into you from the external world, this could be a time to really unplug and to go within, to really embrace those divine feminine energies from within, your intuition, your dreams, your daydreams, the thoughts that come in, the feelings that come in for you at this time. This can be kind of an emotional time, not necessarily like a sad time, but just a time where you're going to be more maybe hypersensitive to things and really aware of your emotions. It's like something might come in for you emotionally that just doesn't make any sense and you're not sure where the emotion's coming from. And really you're just being asked to feel that emotion. So you may feel that at this time. It's like, again, feeling it is healing it. So it's kind of like, even if you don't know where it's surfacing from or what it's, what the root cause is, that's kind of okay. It's like, it's more about what is surfacing for you, what feeling, what emotion, and what are you being asked to feel? We are spirits in this human life form to experience, again, with all of our senses, this life. And so I feel like this is going to be a time, especially again around this Pisces new moon, for really feeling those emotions. Even, you don't have to always know the why. It's just about feeling what comes up for you and then once you can feel it and sort of put a name to it, or, like I feel sad or I feel really happy, but I'm not really sure why, or whatever the case may be. It's like feeling it, putting a name to it, and then finding a way to sort of channel that energy and work with that energy, whatever it is, right? So I feel like this is going to be a time for midweek for like that internal contemplation, for the self-reflection, for going within. Your answers at this time will be found from within or through your dreams, that sort of thing. So it feels midweek feels very ethereal. So where the beginning of the week feels very physical, we're now midweek, we're into our emotions, where it's more ethereal, it's more sort of withdrawn and going within. It's very feminine. So again, your happiness, your peace, your tranquility is going to be found from within at this time. You're not going to find those solid answers that you need from the external right now. Everything's going to be coming from within or coming from the cosmic influence. So pay attention at this time, the emotions that come up for you, the dreams that come up for you, and what are they asking, what are those emotions, what are those dreams, what are those feelings asking you to experience or explore? Because there's a lot of wisdom there to be tapped into. Then we move into the end of the week, and it's interesting because now we have like this exciting new star coming in, so we're back to sort of that physical energy. But it's interesting because it's like there's a new opportunity, a new star, a new offer coming in, and the immediate response feels like taking immediate action, like automatically, like just picturing yourself at the end, the goal, right? Like passing every step along the way and just automatically landing at the finish line. And that's fine to have that excitement and that enthusiasm to move towards this goal. But the message is to be excited for the opportunity, but also take your time. This is not something that's going to be rushed or should be rushed. It's like, it's hard to build something that's sustainable or that will sustain the test of time if it's rushed, if it's just, you miss the details along the way. And so this is going to be one of those things where it's like, if you catch yourself getting some kind of offer or opportunity and you immediately go to the end result and set that expectation to check in with yourself, to find your balance, to bring yourself back to the start or to where you're at, have that beginner's mind and understand that you're just starting out. You're not meant to be at the finish line yet. So stop putting yourself there and stop putting that additional pressure on yourself. Because what can happen with that is we can see the finish line and want to be there and then beat ourselves up because we're not there. But yet we're just starting. We're just at the beginning. So I feel like whatever this is for you, it's going to feel exciting and new and fresh. And again, this could just be an idea, but don't sort of trip yourself up or self-sabotage yourself by throwing yourself sort of energetically into the finish line, because you're not meant to be there yet. So of course it's going to feel off. It's going to feel like you're not achieving what you want to achieve or whatever the case is, because you're not meant to yet. You're meant to be starting. You're meant to be at the starting line. So there's just this message of sort of, again, checking in with yourself, making sure that, you're taking each step methodically, you're using your logic, but also your wisdom, and you're taking your time. Really, the word or the message that's coming in is pace yourself. So whatever this is, it's okay to be excited. It's okay to, envision where you want to end up, but just make sure that you continue to pace yourself along the journey. This is supposed to be something that brings you joy in the process, whatever this is. And so you're not meant to skip the steps. You're not meant to fast forward, because then you're missing the whole experience. So whatever this is, just remind yourself to slow down and don't beat yourself up if you're not moving at a faster pace than you are, simply because you're putting that expectation on yourself that you should be moving faster than you are. You're moving exactly at the speed you're meant to be moving. So give yourself some grace here and just remind yourself that you're in it for the experience, to experience it with all of your senses, and to get to the finish line when you're meant to get to the finish line. So it's kind of like, again, bring yourself back to the present, immerse yourself in the present with all of your senses, and just enjoy each step as you move through the process. Okay? I feel like that's going to be coming in really strongly towards the end of the week. So for those of you that this is relevant for, so again, it's kind of like, allow yourself to feel the excitement over this new start, this new beginning, this new opportunity, but don't beat yourself up for not being further ahead than you feel like you should be, or compare yourself to your peers and be like, well, they're at this point and I'm here, I'm doing something wrong. No, you're exactly where you need to be in this moment for your journey and for what you're meant to experience and learn on your journey. So give yourself some credit. You know what you're doing. Your soul absolutely knows what it's doing. So allow it to lead you, right? Allow it to be your compass. So very beautiful energy this week. A lot of kind of a balance between that internal and that ethereal and the more practical physical plane. So find your balance as best that you can this week, and just really, take the time to see what the energies are trying to show you, because there is wisdom to unlock there. And there's a lot of it this week coming in, especially with this Pisces new moon around the 13th. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.